Good morning. Welcome to Expat Insights. I'm your host, Raju Mantian. Here at Expat Insights, we take external views of internal successes by foreigners, expats, and immigrants who have made their home. Tonight is the eve of Christmas, or just around there, and we have not just one, but several guests, big and small, and all very, very pretty, all dressed up for Christmas. And we'll talk about Christmas, and we'll also talk about what Christmas really means. Does it mean joy, forgiveness, love, or happiness? So my guest, my first one, who's been on the show for a couple of times, Debbie Clemens, Mrs. Debbie Clemens, former president of MAD. She'll tell you what MAD is. And right next to her is Mrs. Martha Goebel, and she's a counselor at the German European School. Is that right?
Yes.
And she's been here on the show one time, and she has her 3 little kids with her.
Yes.
That's Kenneth right behind Martha. Say hello, Kenneth. And that's Calvin. Calvin's a boy, just so that you know. And Laura right in front. So welcome to Expat Insights. Good morning and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
So nice outfits and great looking kids.
Thank you. We try.
Yeah, beautiful kids and nice shoes too. Each one of you. That's Christmas, no? So
Yeah,
how's
we're
Christmas?
jealous.
How has Christmas been for you? How is Christmas for you today?
Christmas is great. Great. It's all about making sure that we keep as many traditions that we would do back home, here, wherever our home is.
Yeah.
So.
Good. So what was back home for you, Debbie?
Well, in Canada, there's a lot of snow, so a lot of the stuff.
You're not from England. You're from England, I thought.
I was born in England, but raised in
yeah.
Canada. So there's a lot of snow, so normally it would involve snowball fights, angels, just walking around in the snow, and of course we can't do that here.
Right.
So we take all the other things, so the food, the decor, and how we used to celebrate it, and my husband and I combine what he used to do in his family.
He's Canadian?
He's Canadian, yes. What we can do in his family and what we do in my family, and we take the best of both and combine it, and then we create our own
Here
version.
in the Philippines.
Yeah.
It's a combination. It's a halo-halo.
I guess, yes, it is a halo-halo of everything we like. So, yeah.
Martha, you were born and raised in here. So
Yes.
tell us about Christmas for you
So
back in the day and now.
we do the traditions because my mom is from New England. So very traditional Christmas, but no snow. So I've never really had Christmas
me too.
with
Never seen snow.
or being warm.
Never seen a white Christmas.
I mean, being warm with,
Yeah.
winter clothes on and everything. So but as our family is here, we're here, been here for the last, 12 years or so, so we've had to create our own traditions as well. And one of the most recent ones, we were just at the Peninsula overnight, and so we could watch the Ayala Triangle Light Show, which is a really cool show to see. We had a great time. Oh, it's great. It's really a great experience. You guys liked that, didn't you?
It's like fireworks? It's like the green strobe lights and stuff?
No, and not fireworks, but they have,
No, it
it looks like fireworks,
yeah.
yes, because, and they have everything, everything just works so perfectly. And that's also a great thing to see. Everything just perfectly working and seeing that show, and the kids just loved it. It was hard to stay awake, though, right, guys? We had a hard time staying awake because we're usually early sleepers, but we managed. And that's
So
one of our
Calvin,
traditions.
since you're holding the mic, you want to tell us what Christmas means to you? There we go. That's what it means. 1, 2, 3. Go ahead.
What's
tell
your
me.
favorite thing for Christmas?
You gotta bring the mic close.
Favorite thing at Christmas, sweetie?
Vacation.
It means a holiday for you.
Yes.
Right. And in the holiday, what matters? Food, fun, or food or fun? Or play? Fun is play, yeah.
Food.
Food matters most to you. Very good. And what kind of food matters most to you in Christmas?
Gingerbread. No.
Gingerbread.
Yes.
Gingerbread. I hear your grandma makes really good fudgies, chocolate fudgies.
Yes.
She does. Okay, okay. How about you, Kenneth, in the back? You look at me. Don't look at the camera. It's all right. What does Christmas mean to you?
Fun.
Is that food or fashion?
Fun.
Okay, okay. All right, all right. Okay, good. So, Laura, you want to say hello and Merry Christmas?
No.
Great. So, Martha, let's go back to you because you are Phil American. So, tell us what Christmas means to you. I mean, you are the person to tell us what Christmas means.
Well, I am American, but have been here for quite a while, so I guess I am honorary Filipina, as some of my friends say, which is a nice compliment.
Yeah.
So I do remember growing up out at my parents' place, and of course having the carolers in the evening and hearing all the beautiful Christmas songs and the carols. That was a really remember that very well. But other than that, of course, my dad is a preacher, so a lot of our Christmas days or Christmas, if it was a Sunday, would be in a church somewhere. Maybe not always right where our house was. We'd go somewhere else for that. But for me, Christmas was always, my mom made it very clear that it was family. And even though we were so far away, we always remembered our grandma and grandpa, my Mumu and Muffa in Connecticut. Mumu and Muffa, they're Swedish. We call them Murmur and Muffa. Yep. So Merry Christmas, Mumu and Muffa.
Mumu and Muffa, all right.
They are in Connecticut right now, and over 80 years old, and they've visited here many times, and family has kept the connections, even though we've been so far.
Mumu and Muffa in Tagalog would mean ghost and ghostess.
Really?
Mumu is ghost. So Muffa would mean ghost. I'm just kidding. I don't know. Just taking a shot. So Debbie, what Christmas to you? What does it mean? To her, it means family.
To me, it's family and also food. Food is a big thing.
Food is, I agree. I would agree with you on that one.
It's food. It's the things that you don't normally have. So for me, it's a nice big turkey. Sometimes we'll do a ham, and then I copy the recipe my mom made for the ham. And then the stuffing, we have to have 2 different types of stuffing.
Yeah.
Because I grew up in a rice stuffing house, and my husband grew up in a bread stuffing house. And then little things like my mother-in-law used to make homemade English muffins. So that takes a lot of time. So I'll do that for a special Christmas treat. And it's about the food and the fun and the children, really. The kids love the lights on the tree. They always want to see the lights. And of course,
we're coming to a break, okay? But did anybody ever think of forgiveness as the meaning of Christmas?
It's up there, but it's not the first thing you think about for me.
I would guess that food, family, and of course the birth of Jesus would be up on our list. And of course, with Jesus comes forgiveness. So yes, it's part of the package.
All right.
I do have a food story. I'll have to tell that later.
Okay, let's take a little break, and then we have one more guest who's going to squeeze in right there.
Yep.
Then we'll take up the stories of Christmas and go towards happiness. Is that okay?
Yep.
Good. All right, let's take that break, and we'll come back with one more guest who came in a bit late. Her name's Padma Siap, and she is Cebuana, and she'll tell us about Christmas too. So stay watching. This is Expert in Science. I'm your host, Raju Mandhian. Hi, welcome back to Expert Insights. I'm your host, Raju Mandhian. We are talking about the pursuit of happiness, and our third guest just crashed into the studio. Padma, welcome to Expert Insights, and tell us about Christmas in your life.
Christmas in my life.
In Cebu.
Oh, yes. It's actually a time for me to pause, because all year round it's busy. And there's less work during Christmas season. It's a time for me to introspect and breathe in peace. After a hectic year.
Food and fun. How about food and fun?
Food and fun, yes. And then peace.
Christmas in your childhood in Cebu.
Oh, delightful.
Really?
Absolutely delightful. I was surrounded by so much family because I was the youngest of so many siblings, and we had an extended family, and I remember the Christmas tree filled with presents, mostly for me because I was the youngest. So everybody elder gave me presents, and it was just a nice time. Yes, food, family. actually, to be honest with you. I never thought of the forgiveness aspect, but that's a
I
good
know,
thing.
I know. That's strange. I don't know why you brought this up, Debbie.
You brought it up.
Oh, I did? Okay. All right.
Food forgiveness fighting. That should be
Fighting.
family fighting. That would be the
Oh, it's a time to pause from fighting. Yes. Yeah, now that you mentioned it, I should add that into my Christmas bank.
Which
forgiveness.
is? Oh, yeah.
Yes,
To me, that's, I mean, not to me, to everyone here, is that's top of the list.
definitely.
So how do we, you want to share a Christmas story before I ask you specific questions about happiness. So do you have a lovely Christmas story to tell?
Well, Debbie had mentioned turkey and food and everything. And as I was growing up, it was here, and we had, my parents had arrived here in the early 80s. And turkeys and hams were not so easily accessible. So my memories is, because every 4 years we'd go back to the U.S. for about a year, is coming back with the then 70-pound suitcases.
Oh,
I know,
filled
back
with
then.
meat.
And we would bring back several turkeys and several hams,
Oh
because
my
they would
God,
stay
food.
frozen. They would stay frozen from Connecticut all the way to the U.S.
Oh.
And we put them in our big freezer, and we had our turkey ham
Christmas
for Thanksgiving
dinner.
and our ham for Christmas. So that's how we got our food, for our Christmas traditional food. And
So-
if we were lucky and someone came and visited us, they would bring a turkey over too. I mean, that
Oh,
was like...
somebody from the States when
Yes.
they came.
I actually remember getting on the plane once in California and being over, having too many carry-ons, and asking this one guy that I saw, can you bring on this bag for me? And I actually had a ham in it, a frozen ham.
Wow, that's
Yes.
like
You can't do that
smuggling.
now.
I know.
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
we would have gotten in trouble. Someone said, did someone give you this? And they would say, yes. And then we'd be in
Yeah.
trouble.
And what's inside?
But
It's
I had
turkey.
smuggle ham.
Smuggling
Yeah.
turkey.
So we made sure we had our food traditions, by hook or by crook.
Goody.
Yeah.
goody.
Now we have SNR.
Debbie, Debbie, your Christmas story.
My Christmas
No,
story.
your favorite Christmas memory.
My favorite Christmas memory is seeing the children when they first wake up and seeing their little Santa sack and
You
like,
have 2 kids?
Well, I have 2 little boys, yeah, and they're still very excited for Christmas. So to see that, and then what we actually do is, because when we go home, our kids get inundated with presents from the cousins, the aunts, the grandparents. They spoil them rotten, and we have more control of it here because I'll get one present from all the grandparents, one present from all the cousins and aunties. So that's 2 presents instead of all these other ones. And it works out well, because once they get their stuff from Santa, a lot of the times the presents still sit under the tree. They're just totally happy with that. And so it's nice. We've been allowed to scale things back and not be so subject to the commercialism that we would have had back home. And the kids are still happy about it. And sometimes I'll take the stuff, and if they haven't unwrapped it, I'll take it. I'll put it in my little cupboard and
Use it
Yeah.
next year?
use
Save
it
it
next
for
year,
birthdays.
or save it for birthdays. I admit I'm a regifter.
I do too.
You
Our
said
But
that
your
quite
Christmas
quietly. You said that
story.
quite quietly.
Like, which ones am I regifting today?
Your favorite Christmas
My
story.
favorite Christmas story is not a childhood story. I mean, I loved my Christmas during childhood, but in the early 2000s, our family moved to Chicago, and I was so looking forward to a white Christmas. But all throughout December, it
No
didn't
snow in Chicago?
No
Are you
snow.
kidding me?
It was so rare. No snow in Chicago. And then the
That's
day
strange.
before Christmas, it started to snow.
Ah, okay.
And it was just a perfect scene. The scene that you'd see in Christmas cards that I never really saw in my life
In Cebu.
in Cebu. And there was such serenity about little snowflakes falling and then filling the ground and resting on the branches of trees that were naked and then glistening in the sun. It was just so perfect. And again, the sense of peace is important to me, and I would tell myself, inhale peace, and that helped me. That whole scene, which was so peaceful, it just brought a smile to my face, and that smile, every time I think about it, comes back.
So you can relive it again and
Oh,
again.
yes,
All
yes.
right, so you're going to do it in a couple of days again. Relive that moment.
Relive that moment,
Yeah.
yes. And I don't wait till Christmas to relive that. Every time I need a burst of joy, when things don't go well, I think about that time.
Good for you. So how do we, this spirit of Christmas, this fun, the food, the fashion, the forgiveness. How do we spread it across the year? How do we live it throughout? What are your ideas, Martha? How do we have the spirit of Christmas?
Well, you know, from our last interview, you know what I love to do.
No?
No.
Counsel.
Yes, I do. And
Okay.
I always like to say that, you know, I sell hope. And I think most of what I do is giving people hope in a counseling situation or in a therapy situation. Because, you know, without hope, where is your happiness? So for me, I like to see people happy throughout the year.
Hopeful.
That is my happy and hopeful. That is my wish for everyone at any time I'm in any kind of a context, in a therapy, counseling, casual context. It's sort of my thing.
So what are the
Happiness
little
is
things
for
you
me.
do to generate that hope?
Well, I find that food works very well.
Okay,
Yeah.
I agree. Turkey,
I do.
smuggled
Not
ones,
only
yeah.
that, I mean, at school, where I work at the German school, I do bring. I'm known for bringing in muffins and cookies a lot, and it's addictive for me because I give someone a muffin and I get this big smile. So it's
Right.
people
right,
say, "Oh, Martha, thanks
right.
for bringing all this stuff," and I'm thinking, "Hey, this is, you know, I like seeing those smiles. It's something that makes me happy as well." So I don't know anyone who is
Refuse.
upset when they get. Well,
Yeah.
some people do refuse cookies. I don't understand people who refuse cookies. Or
Refuse.
I really don't understand those kind of people.
Maybe it's people who don't like sugar that much.
No,
Yeah.
I don't get.
know.
I don't understand. I don't.
Food
you
is
know.
the big one. Like,
Food is the big thing.
if you can make stuff that you remember from your childhood or things that you really like, and,
Yep.
and I've even passed that on to my children. So my boys, we did a cookie stand, which they call Cookies Cookies. So we make the cookies together, and then they just sat at the bottom of our driveway. And,
Oh, that's
and
great.
they
Here
had-
in
That's a
Manila,
great
yeah,
idea.
yeah, in our
they're
village.
selling them?
Yeah, they did. 5 pesos, and they got a glass of iced tea and one of the cookies.
Oh, what a great
And they had their little party hats on and those little blowers.
Yeah,
things,
yeah. Oh, that's a
Yeah,
great
and they
idea.
had a sign, Cookies, Cookies. And the first day, they would go running up and down the street, and you know, they targeted the helpers and the yayas and the drivers. And they felt bad, you know, because there's these 2 little kids running up and down the street. Please buy our cookie. Please buy our cookie. I think we were the only ones in the village to have ever done
What
that.
village is this?
Urdaneta.
Okay, right
I think
here.
my
we
boys are getting some ideas. It might just happen in White Plains
Yeah,
sooner
Cookies
than we know
Cookies
it.
is trademark. Sorry, boys.
Okay, well, we'll have a
You'd have to
Goebel
come up with a
or
new one,
something.
yeah. But yeah, so, and then they sold out. They sold out. And the next day, we had all these drivers and helpers come into our door saying, "Is the cookie stand opening again today?"
We want this to run throughout the year.
And it's like, sorry, no, the kids are in school. But so this year, they called it Cookies Cookies Delivery. So they made
Oh,
cookies.
they're going professional.
They
Very
went
nice.
professional, but this was that they made the cookies for their teachers, and then I got these little red and green Tupperware kind of things, and they gave them to the teachers that had all their homemade cookies in them. So they call it Cookies Cookies Delivery, and
Great, great.
yeah, they
So-
loved that. So, and yeah, they made every teacher have a bite, even if the teacher didn't want it. They'd sat there and looked like, yeah, have a cookie.
Have a cookie. You will have a cookie.
Yeah,
you will
you're
be
going to have a
happy.
cookie, whether you like it or not. You're going to have a
Padma,
cookie.
your ideas on sustaining the Christmas spirit throughout the year?
Mine is more intrinsic.
Mm-hmm.
Having a theater background, I go into sense memory.
What is
That's
that?
remembering what happened in the past and then allowing the same feelings that you had in your body, your sense of smell, what you saw, to come back. So what I do when things don't go the way I want it to go, I go back into sense memory, into pleasant moments. And usually, most of my Christmases have been great. So I go back into those memories and I try to inhale and feel again what I felt then. And that gives me, again, the same jump start to move forward. That's how I sustain going back into great moments in my life.
Yeah. How do you promote it? How do you have others do the same thing? How do you multiply it? How do you go into the cookie business professionally and brand it and sustain it throughout the year? Martha.
Huh?
That's a difficult question.
That is.
Yeah.
That's a multi-pronged question.
Multi-pronged question. Let's simplify it.
It's something that I'm going to be dealing with this year, because this year is the first Christmas without my father-in-law. So last year we had a nice white Christmas in Canada, and we had one last Christmas with him, and then he died. And so this year it's going to be very hard for us to have a happy Christmas. So I'm looking forward to whatever they can share, because the kids and my husband really want something to move forward to. So I'd like some advice on that one, because we're dealing with that at my house. That it's going to be hard.
Actually talking to your mind and telling yourself to come up with visual image, and that's tapping into the right brain. Looking at things looking at things in the past that were delightful, joyful, and recreating that in your mind, and then breathing it in so that it actually infuses into your body, and you start feeling the good things you felt then. It took me years of theater training to be able to do this, and now it's just automatic. But the quickest way I can say is paint that picture in your mind and then breathe it in so you start feeling, because it all starts with thought, and then it affects the feeling, and then you can act happier. And then not acting happier, you can become
This is
happier.
quite scientific, you know, isn't it? This approach to happiness. Padmas.
Scientific, I don't
Yeah.
know.
Well, you know, there is a connection between attitudes, beliefs, and behavior. I mean, that's
Sorry?
the attitudes, belief, behavior. That's
Yeah.
your basic social psych cognition principle. So, I mean, it's true. You start thinking things, and even the reverse. Like people say, well, I don't feel like that, I don't think that. Sometimes if you go and do something, then also that helps with the thoughts and feelings. Because it's like a cycle,
Yes.
attitudes, beliefs, and behavior. So wherever you start, it will surely have an effect.
For example, if I fail, if I'm a teenager and I failed in theology, for example, how would I recover from that using attitude, beliefs, and behavior? What's your recommendation? How would I do it? How would I break out of the feeling of being lost and depressed?
Yes,
What-
well, for the situation, I mean, is theology the only subject
Well, any
failed?
subject. Maybe it could be geography.
It could be
math,
geography, the only
algebra.
subject failed.
Yeah.
Is that the only subject? Are they successful in other ways? So you look at what you're successful at. Is this is this a anomaly? I mean, you're not failing everything, are you? There's always something that you're doing
okay.
good.
So change the mindset.
Yeah. So
okay.
don't think, oh, I'm a failure because I failed this one subject. Oh my gosh, loser, right? So no, that's not the way to go. You look at what you're doing well at and try and figure out, okay, why did I fail this, right? I mean, there's certainly something unsuccessful somewhere else. There's no reason for me to continue in this cycle.
So that would be my mindset, changing my mindset. But what would I do physically? Is there something that I can do, like get up and go, run, jog?
In this situation,
Yeah?
you can get a tutor.
Okay. Great.
It's taking specific action for the specific problem, but before you do that, you have to psych yourself, and one way to psych yourself is to actually say that I've succeeded in many other things. So focus on what you have succeeded in, and that gives you, that jumpstarts the energy to think about solutions. Because if you don't infuse positive thought, then you'll go down this downward spiral, redundant downward spiral, but then it's going to be hard to get the energy to think about how to move forward. So think first of the good you've achieved, and then say, okay, I've achieved success in these other areas. I can achieve success again in this area. And then I have this motto that has helped me tremendously. It's celebrate your mistakes. And I teach that in my training programs. Because when you make a mistake and you look for solutions, you know that you'll not make the same mistake again. So you know that you will not.
How does that go?
I get it. That makes
No, wait,
that
tell
makes
me,
a lot
tell
of
me.
sense. So if you say you've let's use the
I made a
failing
mistake.
theology.
I asked a question that I shouldn't have asked.
Yes.
Okay, for example, yeah.
So then you just learn from that not to ask that question again.
Yes. Then it's a learning experience that you celebrate.
So not the failure per se, but the realization of
What can I
how
learn?
I failed and what I learned from it. So celebrate the learning rather than
the focusing
event
on
itself,
the
but
failure.
slightly post-event.
There's a good quote for that, you know.
Sorry?
Sometimes I feel like the purpose of my life is to serve as an example for others.
How's that? I
It's a
need...
demotivator. Okay, so the joke is, I have to explain the joke.
Yeah.
If your life is a mistake, then perhaps that is the purpose of your life, to serve as an example to others.
That's sad.
Yeah.
That would depress me, I think.
Yeah.
That's why it's called a demotivator and not a motivator.
Oh, right. So, okay. So what are your plans for the coming year now that Christmas is about to wrap up today?
Plans for the coming year is just to
2013, yeah?
to new beginnings and,
Mhm.
and starting fresh and working on the resolutions that you need to do and trying to keep as healthy and happy as possible.
What's a New Year's resolution for you?
For me, it's getting my cholesterol down.
Okay, so no more fun, no more food and cookies.
I don't like to think of it that way.
Okay.
I don't really know how I'm going to go about doing that, but that's kind of what I got to work on.
That's your number one resolution.
That's my number one, is getting my cholesterol down.
Okay. You, Martha, what is your New Year's plan?
Well, it's it's always a challenge to continue balancing what I do at school and my family and making sure that there's a healthy balance. And every time you feel like you found a balance, sometimes it just
So
gets
no
messed up.
specific
So I
goal.
got it. No, work and family balance is always a good goal. Continued.
Plans for yourself, Padma?
Yes, Raju, for years I've been wanting to write.
Okay.
I've told you this,
Mhm.
and I've told you this before you even started to write a book. You have 3 books, I have none. And
This sounds like a
so-
complaint.
No. Again, I'm motivating myself.
Learn from your
Yeah.
mistakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to say, in fact, that's the reason I came here. I'm going to Baguio, I'm going to chill and start to write.
Oh,
good for
wow.
you.
Okay.
Yes, and you're going to help me out.
Oh, in whatever way I can.
Yes. We'll make
Okay.
that happen before the end of 2013. It will be out.
All right. Looks like Kenneth and Calvin in the back are yawning away at this conversation. So let's take a break, and we'll come back and talk to the kids about what they plan in the future. All right? Okay. Smile. So let's take a little break, and we'll come back and talk to the 3 ladies and the plans for their future with their kids. This is Expat Insights. I'm your host, Raju Mandia. Stay watching. Well, welcome back to Expat Insights. I'm your host, Raju Mantian. We are with Padma, Debbie, and Martha, and we finished talking about happiness for them and the Christmases in their lives. Now, let's get the recommendations on how to be happy and pursue it happily. So what are your recommendations on staying happy long-term for people? Miss Trainer, motivator consultant, yeah.
Think about all the little things that you can be grateful about.
Just
And
like
if
what you said for, yeah.
Focus on that,
Mm-hmm.
and then think about great things that happened in your past, and
Mhm.
know that we are all destined for even greater things to come.
Mm-hmm. Okay, all right. Martha?
Well, I think everyone should have a passion. So if you don't have one, figure out what it is, because you've got one, and then go for it.
Really?
Yeah.
Everyone has one? So
Of
you mean
course,
so there are
everyone has
pe-
a passion.
So there are people who are not aware of the fact that they
Yes.
have passions?
Yes.
For example? Is
People
there
who are not aware that they have passions.
Yeah?
I have several teenagers in mind who
Mm-hmm.
don't feel like they have much to live for.
In school?
Yeah.
Yeah?
But they just haven't yet found out what they are awesome at. I can see clearly what they're awesome but they haven't figured it out yet. So sometimes it takes people a little while, but you do have something that you're amazing at, and usually whatever you're amazing at, you're also passionate about. Stands to reason. So that is my recommendation for continued happiness this year.
Find your passion and chase it. That's your recommendation. Yours is
Absolutely.
find good things from your past
And believe greater things can happen.
So it's quite similar. It's at par. It's parallel. Debbie, for you.
Mine is take comfort in your family.
All right, that's a nice one. That's a great Christmassy
Yeah.
spirited one, no?
Yeah, and it's also, you know, no one knows you better than your family, and they know what's going to help you, what's not, and when you deal with issues, like, it's better to have the comfort of your family around.
What if you have issues within the family?
Issues within the family, well, doesn't everyone? I don't know anyone whose family is perfect. Everyone has family issues.
That's where the forgiveness thing comes
Yeah, I
in,
guess
right?
that's, yeah.
Yeah, that was your recommendation, no?
For me, food, fun, fighting.
Food, fun, and fighting.
But everybody has it. Nobody has a perfect family. Nobody has, you know, there's always going to be someone in your family that you just sometimes butt heads with. But there's still love there, and it's finding the love.
So it's hidden. It's kind of covered up.
Some of the times the love's like right out there, but other times you have to dig deep to find the love.
Right.
And then, yeah, find comfort in that.
So I want to know these two things. You know, number one is that so somebody doesn't have passion, or they have the passion but they haven't uncovered it for themselves or discovered it for themselves. How do you help them? How can we help them bring it out and have them take action for it? Madam Counselor.
Yes, well, in conversations, you ask people what they're good at. And they always have something they're good at. I haven't yet met anybody who is a complete loser. It doesn't exist. I mean, you have to be successful somehow to live. So there is always something that someone is good at. So if they don't know what a passion is, then you start with, well, what are you good at? What do you like? What do other people say that you're good at? You know, you
Singing,
look at there.
dancing,
There you go.
cooking, yeah.
Start with, and it can. Some people, because I do this throughout the high school years, and some of them don't know what to say, and then others will say, well, you listen well. You listen to me. They'll say to one of their classmates. And I go, oh yeah, I'm good at that. I said, yes, that is a valid skill. If you are good at that, guess where that leaves you? You know, and they find out that they do have a passion for people. So it can be something as simple and as general as that, or even something as more specific and more skill-oriented, like dancing or singing. So you just start with what you're good at.
What if these people regress back and fear takes them over again and again, and they go back into themselves and say, no, I don't want to do this, and I don't want to chase my passion.
Or they lose their confidence,
yeah.
or they don't want to
How
have
do you help
their
them sustain
passion.
it long term?
You know, I just say welcome to adolescence and teenage, because this happens every 2 months. So yeah, you have to keep on going. I mean, this is the cycle. You know, things are great and then they're not. It doesn't matter who you are. No, you always have this. It always comes up, and there is always hope for tomorrow. And that's the thing. You have to have the hope, and things are always better in the morning. And sometimes that's what I have to say to some of my teenage kids. It's like, just wait, sleep, and then talk to me tomorrow.
All right,
okay? Take a rest.
Right.
Just
That's
think,
a good idea.
Rest your head, and then we'll talk about it in the morning.
I did that to my daughter last night.
See?
She failed, and then this morning she was bright. And then for a moment she lost hope again. Then I had to cheer her up again. So it means it'll have to be done again and again.
Yeah.
So it'll not be like forever it's done. It's a close thing. Padma, you have grown-up kids, and you've been through this successfully, and you are up there. So is this kind of relate to what you've achieved?
With my children, you mean?
Yeah, what Martha recommended?
I've used multiple techniques, and sometimes I don't even think about what I use. It's just intrinsically mommy. It's a mommy thing.
Yeah.
But yes, I do tell them that many times we worry about things that resolve itself in due time. So that hope that things will fall into place.
This too shall pass.
Yes.
Yeah.
And really, now they say that to me when I start to worry. I hear myself in them. They say, "Mom, things will fall into place."
Yeah,
Oh, so it's come back to you.
Yes.
It's come back to you. Great. So one day we'll see Kenneth, Calvin, and Laura do that for Udo and Martha.
Yes, I can't say how successful I'll be with my own children on this one.
It's always easier when it's not
It's
yours.
always easier when it's not yours. And you know, I'm their mom, so I have to be subjective. You know, I can't always perfectly implement all my plans and theories with my own children, but it's the way it is. It's what mom is about.
All right, so ladies, thank you very much for being on Expat Insights. Thanks for sharing your insights on Christmas and happiness. And if you want to say hello and Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays to your families, that's your moment, 1 minute each.
Oh, okay.
Debbie
Oh,
goes
wow.
first.
Okay. Merry Christmas, Andrew and Will, and of course my husband Dave. And then to my friends in Canada and my family in Canada, so Granny and Grampy and Bammy, and then my cousins, Hannah and Ted, and
My
I'm going to forget someone.
And then you're in trouble.
And then I'm in trouble. So hang on. And Karina and Zach, my nieces and nephews.
yeah, just a lot of them.
Everyone. Yeah. Merry Christmas.
Happy New Year, yeah. Martha, your turn. Mumu and Mustafa. Mumu and Mufa.
Mustafa.
Mumu and
Okay, Swedish background, so it would be Mumu and Mufa. Of
Okay.
course, Merry Christmas to Mumu and Mufa in Connecticut, and to all our family over in the U.S., and to Mama, our great-grandma in Ohio.
Laura, you want to say
And
something?
of course,
Yes.
also to Oma and Opa in Germany.
Oma
having
and
a
Opa?
white
That's
Christmas.
Udo's side?
Yes.
That's Oma and Opa?
Oma and
Grandpa?
Opa, Grandma and
Mumu
Grandpa in
Mufa.
German.
Oma and Opa,
Yeah.
great. Hey, Laura, you want to say Happy Holidays?
No.
No? Merry Christmas? No?
No.
Kenneth, your turn. That's it? All right. Calvin, use the mic.
Use the
Use
mic
the
and
mic.
say Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everybody,
And Padma, your turn.
in my family.
Merry Christmas to my Chicago family first.
Mhm.
They're all there. And my Cebu family and friends, my family and friends all over the country. May you experience the best of the best this coming New Year.
All right, so thank you for watching. Thank you for watching Expat Insights. I'm your host Raju Mandian. So that was Debbie, Martha, and Padma, and they said things like, look for the positive, bring it back, change your attitude, change your behavior, right? Sustain it, and have a lot of fun with food. And
Family.
Christmas and holidays. That way you'll be happy. Especially chocolate fudgies from Martha's mom. So, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And in a couple of weeks we'll see Martha's dad, Joe Mau, who is a preacher up in
Rizal Laguna.
Rizal, and he'll probably bring his tops here and talk about happiness through tops. So good night and mabuhay.